for it. Well, first of all, good morning. My name is Blair Taylor. I'm the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Urban League. I want to thank all of the media for coming out this morning. I want to, first of all, just take a moment to acknowledge the unity in our community around issues pertaining to African American students and students of color in general. We are 100% united in our efforts to effectuate meaningful change on behalf of our students in the LAUSD. And as Ms. Lamont said, we hope to work collaboratively in that effort. I want to take a moment just to thank Superintendent Brewer for his service to Los Angeles. Too often we chew up our public servants and spit them out in this city without taking a moment to acknowledge the effort, the struggles, the trials, the tribulations, the family upheaval that they go through being in what is a very, very public and highly scrutinized position. Regardless of what one's opinions are of the superintendent and whether he should have stayed or left, we do have to acknowledge the progress that Ms. Lamont referenced, and we also have to acknowledge that he is a man of high integrity who sacrificed a great deal to serve this city. And quite frankly, I want us to go on record thanking him for that service. I want to just spend one moment talking about the issues that Eric referenced that you have on the talking points in front of you. The key one of which, from our vantage point, is stability at the top. This district will now have had 3 superintendents in the last 3 years, is on a track to have probably 4 superintendents in 4 years. And the problem is we cannot identify an organization, public or private, or in the government sector, that can have 4 leaders in 4 years and be effective. That is just outside the realm of reasonableness. The number one priority of the school board and the community united needs to be to create and project stability at the top of the Los Angeles Unified School District in the aftermath of Superintendent Brewer. I, for one, want us to look forward as much as we look backward. Let's look backward to learn the lessons, but look forward on how we approach this situation from this point on. There needs to be a cohesive bottom-up, as Eric Lee pointed to, approach to building unity around the next superintendent, and we need to create a bottom-up approach to building a strategy to address the needs of the groups that are most underperforming in this district, of which African American students are unfortunately leading the way. I want to again acknowledge all of my peers who are here today. This spirit of unity is very, very encouraging, I think, for us, and quite frankly should be encouraging for the city of Los Angeles. This is not a black, brown, or white issue. This is the city of Los Angeles' issue, and those young people who are dropping out of high schools like Dorsey and Crenshaw and Locke, they are our future collectively for this city, and we have had enough. We are going to take a firm stand in following through with this, and have insisted on meetings with the school board beginning before the holidays. So I want to make sure that the media knows this is the beginning of this process, and many of us have been involved in this for a long time, but we are now uniting in a way that we haven't done previously. So again, I want to thank you all, and I want to thank my colleagues. I'd like to ask, I think Marquise here, Marquise from the Community Coalition, to come up and be our next speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marquise Harris Dawson. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Coalition, and we organize African American and Latino students and parents around the quality of education. And we're very happy to be here today because we recognize that this is a very golden opportunity. You see behind me black leadership in the city of Los Angeles united around the condition of children in our schools. For far too long, we think the focus has been on what's happening with adults, whether they're at 450 North Grand or 33 South Beaudry or in Sacramento. We think the focus ought to be on what's happening with young people. Here at Dorsey High School, we have a very high rate of children in foster care. Most of them are African American. We have an extremely high push-out rate, so that most students that enter in their freshman year do not graduate 4 years. These are the things that we think can be addressed by a task force to focus on the condition of African American students and the performance of African American students in LAUSD. We think a strategic plan needs to be put together, and we think that plan needs to get carried out and evaluated after a certain amount of time, so that again, the focus is on what happens to black children in the city of Los Angeles, because as one group goes, the whole city will go, and we will either prosper together or all perish together.
That's it.
Okay, we're going to open it up for questions now, and for any questions that you have regarding this issue, we'd be happy to answer them. Some of the groups that are represented here today, besides the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in Greater Los Angeles, the NAACP, the Los Angeles Urban League, the Brotherhood Crusade, the New Frontier Democratic Club,
Community Call to Action,
Students for African People,
Community Call to
Los
Action,
Angeles Sentinel, the Community Call to Action and Accountability with Larry Aubrey, and Reverend Sharpton's group, the National Action Network, Reverend Sharpton's group, and board members from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference that are here today. We have with us also a principal from the Maxine Waters Employment Preparation Center, Dr. Janet Clark, and a board member that is with us today. So, any questions?
Yes. What is your take on the fact that there's so many children who have parents who are illegally in Los Angeles taking up the resources in the school, and perhaps this is one of the reasons why Antonio Villaraigosa moved Jesse Brewer out, because it's more of a ethno-racial cleansing of black people out of Los Angeles as well as in our school system. What is y'all's take on that?
We don't have a take on that. The school system provides revenues for each child that is in the public school system. And so the revenues coming from the state and coming from the federal government are designed to provide a quality education for each child. The issue is not the revenue. The issue is how those revenues are spent.
Yes.
And we have a tremendous disparity in the resources that are allocated between inner city schools and suburban schools. That's one of the issues that we
Why is that?
Okay, but that's not.
Brewer's contract shouldn't have been brought out.
The group didn't say anything about that.
Well, what we're saying, everyone has their own opinion. We were not privileged to the board's decision-making process on whether his contract should be bought out or not. What Marguerite Lamont indicated was that there's question as to the process, and there was also evidence that there was improvements in the school district while he was here. So we have not been privileged to why the board decided to buy the contract out. That's something you would need to speak to the board and David Brewer.
Does the board have a responsibility to tell you all this?
Well, my name is Danny Bakewell with the Los Angeles Sentinel and also the Brotherhood Crusade. I think one of the things that, while there's been a lot of attention on David Brewer and his contract and his term with the Los Angeles Unified School District, I think we must remain focused on the real reason why we've come together, which is our children. We've gotten put too much attention on who's leading the school board or who's getting fired from the school board, and not on the quality of education of our children. And so we have come together to make sure that we don't lose focus. We got a lot of media energy that's come to want to talk about David Brewer. We want to keep the focus on the quality of the education of our children in our community.
With what the board members said, how do you look past the obvious, what seems to me to be the racism that moved David Brewer out, and at the same time suspect that our black children are going to get a fair shake going forward? So, you know, how do you look past that? How do you do it?
I don't want to address your question. I'm not doing the Sarah Palin on you, but thank you. But what I want to tell you, though, and I think you deserve that answer, Clause 20A of Brewer's contract says the board can release him without cause and buy out the contract. There was no cause, so they bought out the contract.
But Jesse Brewer said it was racism himself. They about to blow him out.
Okay, well, I refer to that also to be investigated, but at this point, I don't have enough information.
Will you guys investigate that? His claims?
Yes.
Because that's pretty serious business.